Hi there, it's me, Face. Hey, let's drop by Busy Town and see what Lowly Worm and Hucklecat are up to today. Here on Nick Jr.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Katie.
You are listening to Not-Stalgia, just a lowly podcast doing its best.
That's true.
What do people do all day, Kate? Well, if it's us, we podcast.
This looks like a lot of notes.
Hold that thought. I gotta scroll through my notes. Get to the key question. Kate, have you ever seen a TV show called...
It's time to laugh and play.
So have a happy day.
Come visit Busy Town. Lots of things to do and see.
It's so much fun to be.
A part of Busy Town.
The Busy World of Richard Scarry?
I don't think so, but I'm worried that I have, and I'm like conflating my memories of the Busy Town computer game. Because it was just also a screen, which was very interesting to me.
Overstimulating to you as a child who, before we talked about screen time, had limited screen time?
Yeah, my parents were ahead of the curve.
Well, we did a whole episode about the computer game. It's on YouTube. It's actually one of our most watched episodes on YouTube.
Well, it's just so cozy.
I love it.
Everybody is looking for a cozy game these days. In
A
these
cozy
trying
town
times.
with nice things happening.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, there's a TV show, came out in 1994. I'm going to get back to that because I went on a big, busy adventure reading this extremely oversized biography.
It's
I'm handing
really,
it to you.
really large. It looks like what you would get from a children's library. It's approximately, I would say, like 12 inches by 10 inches. It's very large.
It was so annoying to read. You know, like you try to
Yeah,
sit in
like,
your, like, you sit up in bed and read it.
Yeah, this is a lot.
It's huge. It's a really good biography, though. Not just the content, but the pictures. It has so many good pictures.
Lots of pictures.
You know, his book. So the biography is called The Busy, Busy World of Richard Scarry. It's by Walter Retan and Ole Risom. What a great name. O-L-E. Ole Risom, who were Richard Scarry's friends and publishers, I believe. And this episode that all of you out there are listening to is going to be primarily about the animated series, but I'm going to use it as an excuse, like our Bernstein Bears episode before it, to cover the books and sort of the biographical information about Richard Scarry himself. We're not going to talk about the CD-ROM game. Go find the episode about that. It's on YouTube, and there's an audio version on the podcast feed, the Richard Scarry PC CD-ROM game. Kate, Richard Scarry was born... What a great name. Richard Scarry, S-C-A-R-R-Y, was born in Boston in 1919. As a little kid, he showed an interest and aptitude for drawing. In the biography, they talk about his mom sending him to the grocery store as a kid, and she would say, like, okay, here are the things I need. And she wouldn't write it down. She would say it out loud, and he would draw little pictures of everything. Like, prototypical Richard Scarry style pictures, but, like, as a 4-year-old.
Cute.
So he'd show up at the grocery store, like, in that... back in the day when you would just send, like, a 4-year-old, 20 blocks to the grocery store.
He's going to pay your taxes, too.
And he would just, like, get there and, like, you know, have this little cartoon list. Cute. And supposedly he kept that habit his whole life, including when he was an elderly man making packing lists for, like, international trips, because he was always traveling, which I just think is so funny. Like, his adult son, talked about it at some point in an interview in the biography, that he would, like, have these drawings for what he's going to bring on a trip. Anyway.
Take me with you, Dick.
Young Richard Scarry loved art. He would then, even as a very young child, like under 10 years old, started going to art class at the Boston Art Museum, where he's just, like, drawing pictures of everything he sees. Otherwise, though, he's a poor student. It took him 5 years to finish high school. Then he goes to business school because he thought he was supposed to. Then he drops out, and then he starts bouncing around, like, different art schools and keeps dropping out. He goes to, like, 3 different schools. And then 1942, he's drafted into the Army because, you know, World War II. He tried to join voluntarily before this, but they rejected him because of his poor eyesight. So he only got brought in when they had to. They got desperate. Guys like him. And this is so similar to Stan Bernstein. So again, anyone listening, if you didn't listen to our Bernstein Bears episode, I strongly recommend it. This is like history repeats itself here. Richard Scarry's in the military. He has bad vision. He's an artist. So they assign him art tasks. And the first one is he's like painting a big sign outside of the base in New Jersey, you know, where he is. Just like literally like not an artistic sign, sign, but just like who has the technical skill of an artist to paint a big sign that says, welcome to Fort Monmouth or whatever. Then he gets shipped off to Algeria, and his job here, this is incredible. He creates, his whole job is to create a pamphlet about American news to distribute to every soldier every American soldier all over the globe, like in every front of the war. So he's making, like, they're giving him copies of like Time magazine. Like the army will have one subscription to Time magazine, get it to Algeria, give it to Richard Scarry, and then he's making like a little one-page pamphlet that you have to assume, there's none in the book for some reason. They must not have survived. But you have to assume it kind of looks like what you associate with Richard Scarry's books, like detailed drawings, little cute notes, and funny writing around them. And he's just distilling like the news into like a one-page thing that he's putting out like on a regular basis. I don't know if it was weekly or daily or what. But the whole point is to like boost morale, keep them informed of what's going on at home. But like if you have to be in World War II and you've been drafted, what a like interesting job. So he does this for his entire service, first in Algeria and then in Italy. They move him around. During this time, he develops his love of travel that will be important to his life later, and a fascination with European architecture that's going to also be important later in his books. The war ends. He comes home. He decides to go to New York to have a try at being an art director for magazines because he's thinking that's like kind of similar to what he was doing. But he just like flunks out of this like he did in school. He gets hired by Vogue, and then he's there for 3 weeks and they fire him. He just struggles. He struggles to freelance after that as an artist. He's getting like little magazine and advertising assignments, but just total freelance, nothing steady. In 1948, at a cocktail party.
ADHD has always existed, guys. I'm telling you.
At a cocktail party, which according to this book, which is ostensibly for children at the library, like you said, but is like kind of adult in how it describes how things are going on in his life. He's always having cocktail parties or going to cocktail parties. Like that's what his lifestyle was like in the 40s in New York.
Good for Richard.
And at one of these parties in 1948, he meets Patsy Murphy, and within a few months, they're married and will stay married the whole rest of their lives. They really loved each other and died like a year or two apart. Scarry wanting to make more money because he's struggling, and Patsy is working full time. She's a writer at an advertising agency in the 40s. Like,
good for Patsy. Good for f***ing Patsy.
Like pre-Mad Men era. Like, what is it like to be a woman working at an advertising agency in the 40s?
Probably not great.
And she's not a secretary. Like, she's doing the
she's
ad
writing
work.
copy.
Yeah. So Richard Scarry, looking to, start a family, make more money, he hears that children's books are more lucrative than magazine art jobs. So he puts together like a portfolio and submits them to the Western Printing Company. Short history of Western printing. In 1942, they launched their series, The Little Golden Books, which everybody knows. So in 1948, Scarry, newly married, is hired to illustrate some Little Golden Books. So pre-Richard Scarry, as we know him, he's just illustrating. I'm handing you Richard Scarry's Mouse House. And they've added Richard Scarry to the top of this in this reprinting. At the time, it would have just been Little Golden Book Mouse House because he didn't write it. He just illustrates it. And how, describe these illustrations, please.
They are, what year is this from? This is 1949. It looks very cozy. It looks very much like of the time, right? Like it looks like a Dick and Jane, but with mice. And it's hyper realistic, sort of, if mice were realistic and had a house. It's not like cartoony in a lot of ways. It doesn't
look like what you think of as Busy Town, right?
No,
like,
surely not.
There's no line art. Like, there's no, Busy Town has outlines. Busy Town has like mostly solid color paint. This is richly painted. So he is not doing his thing. He might not have developed his thing yet, but he's emulating the Little Golden Books, that have been around now.
See Busy Town, though, when you look at the furniture a little bit.
Very detailed, right? Yeah. Like extremely detailed. So this is his first gig, is illustrating, not writing, but just illustrating Little Golden Books that other people are writing. His first one's called Two Little Miners in 1949, written by Margaret Wise Brown, who wrote Goodnight Moon.
Dang.
So she was writing, she hadn't written Goodnight Moon yet. That would be, I think, 2 years later. But what a power team up there.
I know.
And it's just about two guys like in a mine, like the horrible conditions probably of being a miner in the 40s.
Like, children love mining. It's a delight.
So the next couple years are personally eventful for the Scarrys. They have a baby who they call Richard, but everyone calls Huck after Richard Scarry's favorite literary character, Huckleberry Finn.
Cute.
Who also the cat in Busy Town is also named Huckle, right? So that's kind of funny. And his kid came first and then the cat in the books. They take their first trip to Europe as a couple, where according to the biography, they just drop this newborn baby off basically with like a nurse for like weeks on end.
It was what, the 50s?
Yeah, it's the early 50s.
It was the early 50s. 50s. Any white man could leave his baby with anyone else, and it was fine. It was actually like sanctioned. People were like, "Yeah, this is great."
So they go to Europe, and Richard very cutely is showing Patsy, like, here's all the places I went during the war. Aren't these cool? Like, look at these. He really loved the being in Europe during the war, obviously, because he wasn't on the front lines like fighting. He was
Richard.
making a cute little pamphlet.
Take me to Europe, Dick.
So he's just showing her around, and they're having a great time. Patsy quits her job, I think because of her pregnancy, and she does not stop working, though. She starts writing little golden books, which sometimes are illustrated by other people and sometimes are illustrated by Richard.
Patsy, you're a machine.
She's so
I love
good.
you.
This is just great. This whole biography made me smile so much. They moved from New York City to Connecticut, and like he can commute if he has to, but he's really just writing books, and I think you can mail them in. In 1951, Scarry for the first time writes a book, which he also illustrates, The Great Big Car and Truck Book, which I don't have a copy of here for you, but it's humans, not little animals, but with really detailed cars, like his thing of making the cars super detailed. And on the cover, though, is him and Patsy. Like, it doesn't say that, but it's clearly them in their little sports car. It's in here
that's
somewhere
cute.
in the biography. They're one of the things on the cover, which is very cute, with the little cool car that they had. So yeah, it's very similar to what he's going to become famous for soon, but with humans instead of animals. And during this era, he does illustrate books with animal characters, but most of the time, like the one you just looked at, The Mouse's House, they behave more like animals. Where in Busy Town, what he's going to invent very soon, the animals like are essentially people, police officers and firefighters and stuff. Where up till this point, he's doing animals, but they look a little more realistic, and they're usually behaving more like animals than people. And again, still, he's using the Little Golden Book style, not his style. Scarry is pitching more and more ideas for books that start to feel like Busy Town, but no one's buying. Like, he's coming up with these ideas that are more and more Busy Town-esque, but he's kind of stuck in a rut doing Little Golden Books for the most part. He has this series called Tinker and Tanker in 1960, which eventually breaks through and he gets to make, but it took him like 10 years to convince anyone to let him make it, where the characters look more Busy Town-esque. And then finally, the big one, right here, Kate.
Yeah.
Although is this the updated version? Yes, this is the updated version that we'll talk about after the women's lib movement made the book less sexist. So here's Richard Scarry's best word book ever. This is the first book that we could consider a Busy Town book.
I see it.
It originally came out in 1963. It's an oversized square book with 1,400 individually labeled objects.
Pretty great.
It shows off what has become his trademark style, including busy scenes with cut open diagrams of houses, and it was an insanely massive hit. This was like, once he convinced a publisher to do this, it took off like crazy. I mean, it put him on the map. Allegedly, the name of the book came from one of the agents of the publishers who he showed it to, who said, this is the best word book ever that I've ever seen. So that's just what they called it. And it was noteworthy. What kind of made this unique at the time is it organized the words by type and connection instead of alphabetically, which everyone else was doing. And this allowed it to be sold internationally as well, because an alphabet book doesn't work internationally if the words don't start with the same letters.
This man definitely had ADHD. We're going from the farm to the airport. We're at the supermarket now. Now we're mixing colors. Oh, mealtime. Nope, boats and ships. Keeping healthy. Now we're going to the doctor.
But it could just keep your kid occupied for like hours, The choice to show buildings open, by the way, that cut open look, is inspired by something called the Duden Pictorial German Dictionary, which he must have had a copy of. The biography mentions it just for a second, but they don't talk about like how he got his hands on it. Maybe during the war, I don't know. It's a type of dictionary that originally was just in German, and then there was a German and English version that you could like learn German with if you spoke English. But it goes back to the 1880s, these type of German dictionaries with these almost this style of drawing, and that's where he got the idea, supposedly. From here on out, he's doing his own thing. He is putting out books like Richard Scarry's Busy Busy World in 1965. Busy Busy World is like this, but it's all about like little short stories all over the world, because he's so obsessed with travel, and he like did tons of research. So it has like 20 plus stories that all take place in different European countries mostly. And
I think we
towns.
would have been. I think we would have been friends with the Scarrys, don't you?
Yes. There's a little bit of drama. I don't know if publishing house drama will interest you. Let's see. Where he switched publishers from Western, which was the original Little Golden Book one. He did his first Busy Town books with them, and then he switched to Random House because he got a way better contract. Western,
get that bag, Richard.
Yeah, Western wasn't really paying him that well. Again, this biography, which is for children, goes into so much detail detail about the contracts and everything and like the royalties.
You know what? Kids should know.
So he switched, and that was kind of like unusual at the time for a children's book author to like switch like that. But his books are so general that they couldn't claim, like ownership of the drawings and the characters. So he was allowed to go make those. And Random House, who he switched to, had Dr. Seuss and the Berensteins. So that was like the big one. This is my favorite title out of all these books. What do people do all day? I just adore, but I don't know why. I just think it's so great. And you know what? We didn't even talk about, did you have these books?
I think I had maybe one.
Do you remember which one? I'm curious.
I don't think
They're
so.
so
Ooh,
similar.
This is sticky. Why is this sticky?
Because it's used.
It's very sticky. Book is very sticky.
Because I got it from thriftbooks.com.
It's fine. It's just sticky.
It's just a kid's jam-covered hands.
I think I had one, but I think that Lowly Worm was like very
Oh, is it like more of a
prominent.
story?
No, it was more just like I remember him being there. What a guy.
Because he's around in these, but he's not. He's
Yeah.
not like the main character yet.
It's like your first exposure to a non-toxic man. I do like this. What do people do all day?
It's so great.
Right?
And it just talks about, jobs and stuff. It came out in 1968.
Man, this is like a little propaganda, Everybody is a worker. Got to fight the power.
Oh, you think it's pro
I think it's
union
pro-labor, yeah.
Oh, interesting. I thought it's like you must work, and that is what makes your life meaningful.
No, I don't think so.
Because it seems like the idea of these is just like, what do grown-ups do? And
Yeah.
like this world, this busy world we all live in, like how does it run? Like how are buildings built? How are like sewers running?
Right? This is like how to mail a letter.
Yeah, it's just like everything you see has like a rich, it's just beautiful. It's really well done. For
It's
a guy
got all
who had,
these half timber houses.
oh yeah,
which
that's
I
from
absolutely
his
adore.
European travels. For a guy who like had no background in like education, like it just seems like so beautifully created. Like the pedagogy seems good. That same year, 1968, same year as the book you're looking at. What do people do all day? Richard and Patsy decide to move with Huck to Switzerland. This time they take Huck with them, and they're moving there permanently.
Taking you with you, Richard.
And the idea was it's centrally located to the rest of Europe, so they can just travel all they want. And again, he's just like, he doesn't need to be in New York or the USA. He's just writing his books and mailing them to Random House, and then they publish them. Incredible. And they stayed there till they died in the 90s. So, and those half timber houses that he loves to draw definitely are heavily inspired by Switzerland and the other European countries that he visited. But he just continues to pump out books. Many now in his trademark style, these big square, oversized books with cut open buildings and objects. In the late 1970s, his publisher convinced him to revise the best word book ever because they got a lot of criticism about the rigid gender roles. So the new version has men cooking in the kitchens and like lady police officers.
Oh, God forbid.
And it's like, it doesn't make
fluid gender roles.
I don't think he's like such a feminist. I think the biography talks about how like they convinced him that they'll just they'll be able to resell the whole book to everyone who has it already, so he'll make a ton more money. Meanwhile, they continue traveling, blah, blah, blah. He wrote and illustrated over 200 books, many of them in his sort of busy town characters and style. We talked about the 1993 computer game. Here are my two favorite anecdotes from the biography, and then we can watch the show. Ready?
Yes.
1. Scarry got a credit card when credit cards came out, but then like the second time he ever used it, he found a small error on the bill, like it was off by like $2, so he never used a credit card again for the rest of his life.
Sounds like your dad.
It does. That's very, that's why I thought it was so funny. And in the 1980s, when he took a rare trip back to New York City, like he almost never returned to the United States, but he did it like a handful of times for business. He had his bag stolen from a restaurant, and his bag, he had this like, the book talks about it, his like satchel that he carried everywhere. It had like cash in different currencies because he was traveling so much and he didn't use a credit card. And he was so mad that his bag got stolen from inside of like a fancy restaurant that he never returned to New York City again after that happened. And he lived for like 15 more years.
Oh my God, I love it.
The animated series, Kate, The Busy World of Richard Scarry.
Yes.
It ran from March 9th, 1994 to March 29th, 1996. It was a joint venture between the Montreal-based animation company Cinar, C-I-N-A-R, I don't know what that means, and the French animation company called France Animation, and the American company Paramount Television. So it was this big international thing because his books were popular all over the world. It was, originally made in English and in French, so there's both versions were airing simultaneously. In America, it aired on Showtime, but then it switched to Nickelodeon at some point. I cannot find information anywhere when or why, if it finished on Showtime and then switched, if it switched partway through, if it was simultaneous. I have no idea. Nobody has this information on the internet. It wasn't in the biography, but Nickelodeon aired this show as part of their preschool block, Nick Jr., which I watched. So I did not have any of these books, unfortunately. I had books. I don't want to make it sound like I did not have books, but I do not remember ever looking at a Busy Town book. I had the computer game and I watched the TV show, and it was on like early in the morning on Nickelodeon. By 1997, it was running on Nickelodeon. There were 5 seasons. 65 episodes. I could not decide on which one episode to show you. Every episode has 3 segments, so I Frankenstein one together. So we're going to watch 3 different segments. We're going to watch Season 2, Episode 2, The Field Trip, Season 1, Episode 10, Hans the Dutch Plumber, and Season 4, Episode 3, Mr. Gronkel Won't Mind. Usually the middle segment was international, which is so interesting. I don't remember that, but usually it was like The Cat and the Worm in Busytown for the first segment. The middle one was some random international story in a random country, and then usually another Busytown thing.
I always feel like when I drive around in my little car that I am a Richard Scarry character. That's
Which
all.
one? Lowly Worm? All right, and before we watch, I should end his story by telling you when he died. He died while they were writing this book. Like, they were in the process of interviewing him and Patsy, and then he died before they finished, which is sad. He died on April 30th, 1994. And I don't have the exact date here, but Patsy died in 1995, so within 1 year, sadly.
I mean, we know.
They just liked hanging out with each other. Love a husband and wife who like spending time with each other.
It's true.
What's at the Busytown Dam, Sergeant Murphy?
The hydroelectric plant, Kenny. It makes electricity for power. Uh-oh, car trouble.
Looks like we could use a hydroelectric plant right now.
I wonder what's wrong. There's something leaking, Sergeant Murphy. Yuck!
I do love Lowly Worm's flying apple.
Look at that windmill.
I know.
What a paradise.
I just want to go live in Busytown,
Busytown.
where, like, when someone's a wolf, an evil wolf, you know, because they're a literal wolf. Look, they all have little hats on because they live in basically, like, Bavaria. Right. Look at, I never noticed that Lowly Worm's hat is a very Bavarian-looking hat.
It's like a little feather or tassel on it. It's also interesting because, like, along with the Berensteins and Dr. Seuss, like, how many children's books authors have their name so prominently featured? His name's it's in the TV show name.
This is like a town where there's opportunities for youth to be involved in positive things after school, you know? They have a like a scout troop that they all go on field trips together.
Yeah, but this poor goat boy can't go because he has to pick tomatoes while they're ripe. Also, it's just like a unisex scout troop, right?
Yeah, it's great. Their scout leader is taking them to go see the hydroelectric plant at the Busytown Dam.
They love
God
clean
forbid
energy
we
here.
get clean energy. Take me to Busytown. The dad's like, oh yeah, I'll go help. Son, you keep picking these tomatoes.
Hey, as
They're
he
not going to pick
explains,
themselves.
the tomatoes need to be picked while ripe. Wow, they're learning that you don't need to be a rugged individual and pick all the tomatoes yourself. You could perhaps share the work. Just watching Lowly Worm move around is fascinating.
Yeah.
He's wiggling, he's hopping, he was on one knee, scooting around.
I love everyone's little Busytown clothes also. I'm concerned that I dress like I live in Busytown.
Busytown core.
Not the scout uniforms, just the
Yeah, they're civvies.
earth tone pants with vest combo. Oh no.
Oh man, they're never going to get to see the hydroelectric dam.
Hans, every day you come home soaking wet. You get your clothes wet, you get our house wet. Oh, you even get our newspaper wet. If only you could find a job where you could stay dry. Wait, what's this? Windmill keeper wanted. Apply to City Hall. Look, Hans, Mayor Burgomaster is looking for a windmill keeper. If you get the job, you'd stay dry.
All right, Henrietta. If it will make you happy, I will apply for the job.
Hans the Dutch plumber.
Welcome to Holland, land of the Dutch.
I love the Dutch. I do. They're so direct. Everyone's always like, oh, the Dutch are mean. No, the Dutch are direct.
Hey guys, I'll bet you didn't know that Katie had strong opinions about the Dutch.
I love the Dutch.
Hans
All
is
right.
just a joyful Dutch plumber.
He loves his job.
Are these the only 2 jobs in Holland, according to Busytown? You can be a plumber who works on the irrigation, or you can be a windmill operator.
He loves being a plumber, but his wife's like, look, you come home every day and you're just disgusting. You're
His
soaking wet,
nagging wife.
covered in poopy. Go be a windmill keeper instead.
They just used an American tourist to plug the hole in this dam.
I love it.
An annoying American tourist. It's like all about like the importance of finding a job that you love if you can.
And the importance of like the trades, preserving infrastructure.
Most importantly, it's just like fostering like curiosity about other cultures and countries.
Yeah.
Like people, so a lot of people are real, as we're learning right now, maybe I should have learned it before. People are like really weird in America in particular about like, this is the best, your country sucks. Cause it's like, instead of just like coexisting with other countries.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Gronkel. It's me, Hilda Hippo.
One of those annoying little kids. Huh? Okay, so you're an annoying big kid.
Mr. Grunkle, I'm trying to raise...
Go away.
Kate, I can't find the one I wanted to show you, so I'm pivoting. Instead of Mr. Gronkle Won't Mind, I can't seem to find the season 4 episodes anywhere. We're going to watch Grouchy Mr. Gronkle.
I am a grouchy Mr. Gronkle.
Sometimes.
Why is Mr. Gronkle so grouchy? Because
He lives in a paradise.
He lives in a f***ing paradise. I would understand if he lived in America 2025. This is what I feel like every day.
He lives in a big, stupid mansion all by himself. He's hoarding wealth. Now look, I have a no soliciting sign outside of our house. If a kid came trying to sell me something, I'll get a little annoyed. Maybe less so if they're a child. But...
Yeah. Kids don't know what soliciting is.
Lowly Worm's apple car, which is equipped with like tank tires to be a snowmobile.
It's great.
Here's Lowly Worm ice skating. Olympic level talent.
Mr. Grunkle refuses to give any money to children's charities. Mr. Grunkle shut down USAID? Weird. Yeah, I hope Mr. Grunkle hits his head and dies.
I'd like to point out Katie is talking about Mr. Gronkle. Well, he fell under the ice there.
These kids have no obligation to help Mr. Grunkle. I'm just saying.
He was so ready to scream at these kids for skating on his pond that he fell through the ice, which is a bit of poetic justice. However, they are trespassing. Oh man, there's a doctor here, but it's not the doctor from the game, the bandage doctor. I appreciate the optimism of Busy Town. However, I don't believe that Mr. Grunkle's change of heart would have happened quite so quickly.
I don't believe it, and I don't believe he would ever have one.
He's all turned around, and now he's hosting parties for the children.
The Busy World of Richard Scarry.
I did forget, in all my blabbing at the beginning, I forgot to mention how long this show ran. I told you the dates, but it ran for, Kate, ready?
Yeah.
5 seasons, 65 episodes. And there was another show called Busy Town Mysteries that ran from 2007 to 2010. But that's it. It has not been adapted since then, again, which is interesting because...
That is interesting.
I don't know if there's a rights issue. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like evergreen. It seems like they could keep doing this.
Yeah, they could just do this forever.
All right, Kate, what do you think?
I mean, I think it was super fun. I want to live in Busy Town. It takes a lot of the elements of things that we know that I like, right? Which is like regular kids, or in this case, animal children, doing regular kid stuff, right? Which is pleasant. I liked going to the Netherlands to visit Hans the Dutch plumber. I enjoyed the architecture. I enjoyed that they appear to live in a paradise, and I want to live in Busy Town.
Well, if you hate it so much, why don't you move, Kate?
I would if I could. If I had any skills whatsoever, I would not be here.
All right, so podcasting is a skill. So
it's not in demand.
Yeah, this was really fun. And I enjoyed this as a kid. This is a real blast from the past for me. Lowly Worm is just such a great character. He's just so funny looking.
It's because you are Lowly Worm.
Hey, I take that as a compliment. That's
you
fine.
are. I know.
All right, before we turn it off, this struck me as so funny. This illustration of Lowly Worm, the one in the little box of him trying to eat his spaghetti and meatballs, where he
It
has
actually is very funny.
wrapped his leg around the spoon and he's putting it into his mouth. Or it's not meatballs. What is that? It's a little dessert. But like, it's something that's in the books that you don't get in the cartoon. Look at his like wall-eyed stare. You know, like there's kind of like a manic, funny. Like there's a little bit of a funnier thing going on with the drawings that definitely is not translated into the cartoon.
No.
The cartoon is lovely. It's very calm and cozy. I love those middle international segments. I think that is just the best because I think it's really important to foster not xenophobia among children so that they don't grow up thinking that where they live is a special, exceptional place and that there's nowhere else good on earth that they should even visit. So I think that was great. Thanks for watching, Kate.
Thank you.
Oh, I should have had these books. Why didn't I have these books? Not even one. No, I had plenty of books. I grew up in a house with books. I was not that interested in reading, but these look like so fun. Like I'm kind of mad that I didn't, like I'm retroactively mad because I feel like I could have absolutely gone to town reading, like, look at this. You know, you could read this for hours. Anyway, Busy Town, Richard Scarry, all good stuff. The cartoon was good. The books are good. Great. What a positive episode of Not-Stalgia. Except for, I guess, your opinions and thoughts about the current state of the world.
Huckle Cat and Lowly Worm are the best of friends.
Yahoo! Paddle, Huckle, paddle!
They play games together.
To his left, the right, he shoots!
They go off on adventures together.
Wow, Lolly! We're real pilots now!
They even save the day together.
Search and rescue!
So come join the best buddies in Busy Town on the Busy World of Richard Scarry. Weekdays at 10, 9 Central, here on Nick Jr.